Hey guys, so if you follow me on Stardust, you probably have seen my dog. This is Dickens. Say hi, Dickens. Say hi to YouTube. That's me. You're trying to bite. Anyway, I decided to bring him on for my review. Ow! I'm gonna give you another chance. But anyway, I decided to bring him on for my review for Wes Anderson's Isle of Dogs. Isle of Dogs is the latest film directed by Wes Anderson and his second venture into animation. This movie, unlike his first animated film, Fantastic Mr. Fox, is an original idea. It takes place in Japan, where the mayor of a city, Mayor Kobayashi, has banned all dogs and has pretty much banished them to a place called Trash Island. Something that's never gonna happen to you, buddy. Anyway, a young boy heads to the island to try to find his dog Spots, and he comes across a pack of dogs, and let's see if I can remember their names. Chief, King, Duke, Boss, and I'm forgetting the last one. But anyway, the cast of these dogs consists of Jeff Goldblum, Bryan Cranston, Bill Murray, and Ed Norton, with Bryan Cranston being the main dog. So they go on an adventure to try to find the lost dog, and probably find a way to get all the dogs back to the mainland. So like I mentioned, this is a Wes Anderson movie, and at this point in his career, it's either your thing or it's not your thing, because he very much makes movies that are very quirky, stylistic, and kind of fall into the realm of being very hipster-like. And I would even say that this is more of a Wes Anderson movie than Fantastic Mr. Fox is, because with Fantastic Mr. Fox, he definitely made it his own, but he still had to stay to the source material, the book by Roald Dahl. This time around, it's an original idea, so he is allowed to go full Wes Anderson as possible, right down to the characters being as dry as can be, the orange glow that, well, dominates all of his movies. The fact that every little English text has to be accompanied with a Japanese translation, right down to the film's title, and even the end credits are accompanied by Japanese translations. Like, you can't get any more hipster than that. Okay, I'm gonna put him away right now. He's trying to bite my neck. I would have loved to have kept Dickens around for the rest of the review, but as you saw, he tried to bite my neck. I don't want him to get that idea, so I put him in a timeout. Let's actually finish this review. This movie just has Wes Anderson written all over it. And again, this could be considered a good thing or it's a bad thing. I think Wes Anderson has a very distinct style to where I don't mind it too much. The style, the humor, the dry characters, the monotone acting, which is expected from these kinds of characters, I don't mind at all. What I did have a small issue with, and this is something that keeps me from loving this movie, is that the plot is nothing special. It's a pretty generic boy trying to find his dog story, and there's really no surprises in it. There's nothing that makes it really stand out outside of Wes Anderson's visual look. So I doubt this would end up being my favorite animated movie of the year. It's really good, but I feel like we're going to see a lot better as the year goes on. Also, I saw no reason for this movie to be set in Japan to begin with, because there's nothing about this movie that truly speaks of Japanese culture. Because the bulk of the movie is set on Trash Island. It's an island full of trash with a bunch of dogs that speak English, voiced by American actors. Nothing really to downgrade the movie in terms of it being good or bad. It's just something that left me a bit confused. Another element in this movie that not only left me confused, but took me out of the movie, was a point in the movie where you can hear Fumio Hayazaka's score for Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. This bothers me the same way listening to Bernard Herrmann's Vertigo theme in The Artist bothers me. Because I'm watching a movie that I'm loving, and a movie that has a really great score on its own by Alexandre Desplat, and then all of a sudden I hear the score to one of my top 100 favorite movies out there, and I'm suddenly reminded of that movie and thinking about that movie, and not what's actually going on with the movie I'm currently watching. Those who are not too familiar with Fumio Hayazaka's score for Seven Samurai might not be bothered by this at all, because a lot of Alexandre Desplat's score sounds like it came from Seven Samurai, but if you love Seven Samurai and you're very familiar with that score like I am, it could very well bother you and might even make you take points off for this movie. It was only for a little bit, and then I managed to get back into the film. So on the whole, Isle of Dogs is not one of my favorite Wes Anderson movies. In terms of his animated movies, Fantastic Mr. Fox is still my favorite, and in terms of all of his movies combined, I still prefer Royal Tenenbaums and Grand Budapest Hotel above this. Grand Budapest Hotel was something that I watched and went, wow, I truly adore this movie. Isle of Dogs, it's good. It's really good, but I didn't think it was quite great. Outside of the generic plot, the movie does have a lot of pacing issues, because I felt like this movie was going on over 2 hours when it was just under 2 hours. And I've said this before, if your movie feels longer than it actually is, that's a problem. But hey, it's still a really good movie that you should see, especially because it's stop motion. Stop motion animation just has a charm to it that I really love. And this sort of choppy style of stop motion animation, I actually prefer over what Laika is doing with movies like Kubo and the Two Strings and Coraline. Those two are great movies, but I prefer stop motion animation where it's a little more choppy and primitive, as opposed to the stop motion that you look at and go, why didn't you just make this CG? But again, that's my own personal preference. This movie right here is really good, but I don't think it's one of Wes Anderson's best. And that's my review for Isle of Dogs. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below and tell me what your thoughts are on the movie, if and when you've seen it. Maybe next time, when Dickens is a little older and more well-behaved, I can bring him back on, but we'll see when that day comes. And until next time, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one.